This is American Top 40, and I'm Shadoe Stevens. Next, a heavy metal glam band that used to be called Paris. That is until one day in their hometown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, when a local newspaper writer did a story on them. The story said that the group Paris was poisoning our youth, so they became Poison. Here's Fallen Angel.
American Top 40!
And now we're up to the band Poison, who've been touring behind their current album, Open Up and Say Ah. Well, recently the band played a show in San Francisco, and after the concert, singer Bret Michaels had to see a doctor to, what else? Open up and say ah. It seems he was suffering from a severe sore throat, and the doctor diagnosed Bret as having, quote, bruised vocal cords brought about by excessive use of his voice and road fatigue from his year-long tour. So now the band is rescheduling the rest of their concerts, and Bret has strict orders to open up and say nothing. Here's Yo Mama Don't Dance.
Around the world with a shadow.
I'm Shadoe Stevens, and we're up to the group who say they never want to become too skilled. Now, most bands take pride in their growing craftsmanship and musical moves, but not this five-man glam metal band from Hollywood, Poison. They recently released their third album, Flesh and Blood, and most of the album was recorded live with the entire band in the studio. That's a switch from the way it's usually done with most acts. Musicians and singers will record their parts separately, and the engineers will mix them together later. But Poison decided to do it live. Drummer Ricky Rocket says, we're just a glorified garage band. And I think one of the best things about the band and the new record is that there's still a rawness to it. We haven't become so polished that we've become sterile. And I can promise you one thing, that will never happen to us.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. We're counting down the hottest hits in the nation on Casey's Top 40. Now, here's the second one. It's from Poison, four heavy metal rockers who say they love to provoke extreme reactions. Lead singer Bret Michaels says, you either love us or hate us. Just don't say we're all right. Well, lately, the band's been doing a lot better than just all right. In fact, their last hit, Unskinny Bop, was a top 10 smash.
Okay, all you high school students, pay attention. I hope you got your loose leaf notebooks handy because we're going to help you learn how to spot a potential rock star right in your own school. Now, we recently talked to Bret Michaels of Poison to find out what he was like in high school, and maybe it'll give you some pointers. After all, who could be better at this than a real-life top rock star? So we asked Bret what he looked like, what he dressed like, how he acted, and was he a real ladies' man?
In high school, I was the furthest thing removed from being a sex symbol. Do you understand what I mean? And it was funny, in high school, older girls liked me more than younger girls. For me, when I was in 10th grade, I dated girls that were in 12th grade. And obviously, I didn't date that many of them, you know what I'm saying? Although I always had a note, I'd like to meet you, my name's Bret. They're like, who cares? Yeah, I mean, they'd crumble it up. I'd see it laying there on the floor, and I'd go back. And, you know, I was a greasy, long-haired misfit, you know, wearing my Jimi Hendrix purple T-shirt that said Purple Haze. It didn't fit right, you know what I'm saying? And I always wore kind of silly clothes to school, but, you know, I enjoyed them. Other guys would make fun of me, but I also played football. And I also played baseball and basketball, and I played volleyball, and I love sports. So I incorporate that in what we do.
Bret Michaels of Poison, who actually did grow up to be a genuine rock and roll star.
America's Top Hits.
14 years ago this week, back in 1988, one of the top hits in the USA was Every Rose Has Its Thorn by a heavy metal band whose biggest chart success has been with soft rock. Like other hard rock bands, including Kiss, this group from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, had tried to hit the charts with their metal sound. But it's their softer songs that gave them their hit singles. Songs like Something to Believe In and from 14 years ago this week, that was one of the top hits in the USA. Poison with Every Rose Has Its Thorn. I'm Casey Kasem.
American Top 40.